something. Your dad was a hero. And heroes are necessary. And they should be allowed to have families.
Hey guys, Tanner Richard Kraft here. The podcast you're about to listen to was originally recorded in the height of the pandemic back in 2020, specifically July. I think that's when it felt like things were as worse as it was ever going to be. When this podcast was originally recorded for another channel, we are repurposing it for your listening enjoyment. We hope you like it. Thank you. Hello all, welcome to Bomb Squad podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tanner Richard Kraft, and I'm not going to keep up that accent.
And I'm your other host, Austin James Weevelman.
Your middle name is James?
Oh, fuck. I gotta go. I've blown my cover.
All of a sudden, Austin is never seen again.
FBI, open up!
Turns out Austin was the real CIA sleeper agent.
So, what did we watch this week, Tan Man?
We watched The King of Staten Island, or as you called it in the Google Drive file, Pete Davidson, the movie.
It really is.
It's his 8 Mile.
Yeah, this is the Pete Davidson's biography of what would have happened to his life if he hadn't gone into stand-up comedy, or so him and Apatow speculate. This movie came out last Friday from when we were recording this, and it subsequently came out and blew up 8 platforms. It was the top rented movie on Amazon, Fandango Now, and 6 other fucking platforms.
Fucking Redbox, people are still doing that, I think.
Lots of fucking people wanted to see Pete Davidson the movie for some reason.
I think he's the most popular active SNL cast member aside from what's her name?
Oh, fuck. Kate McKinnon?
Yeah, I think she's the most popular one, but, second is Pete.
You can tell she's the most popular because she always gets to play the president who loses.
She played Warren, she played Clinton.
I called up Lauren. I called up my buddy Lorne Michaels and told him, don't let Kate play the next one if you want the one to win. It's a curse.
Maybe Michael Lawrence was a really big Bernie guy, and he just desperately wanted Warren to lose, but he should have had McKinnon play Biden instead, the real threat.
I think our video helped Joe Biden win more than anything.
I'm so guilty. I feel like that's my fault, because I'm the one who wrote that answer down.
So,
and I announced it.
Pete Davidson in this movie is playing a 24-year-old guy who's having trouble adjusting to adult life because of something traumatic that happened to him when he was 7 years old. And it's got Marissa Tomei and, what's his name, Bill Burr.
The man, Bill Burr.
And it's about 2 hours and 17 minutes in runtime. Tanner, what's your first impression?
I fucking loved this movie so much. Oh my god, I loved it so much.
Thank God, we're pretty much in agreement on that. I had a very good time watching this, which I was sort of hesitant because I didn't think that Judd Apatow would keep making good movies throughout my life. And if I'm remembering right, his name was on a few stinkers.
Yeah, he writes a lot of stinkers. Usually when he directs, it's fine, but he only directs once every 5 years, it seems like.
That's why I wasn't familiar with what kind of bar of quality would be set here, because frankly, I had such a good time. This feels almost like there's the same things in every Judd Apatow movie. There's a scene where everybody's singing all together. There's a lot of camaraderie. There are cute kids in the movie that are authentically cute.
And actually really funny.
It's a deep character study of somebody who reminds you of somebody who really exists, and they're actually funny as shit.
Yeah, this movie was really good, and Pete Davidson was really good in it. I thought he gave I know he's playing himself, but it's still a very incredible performance, I thought.
Yeah, this is part of a long tradition of people silly SNL comedians trying to go on and make their serious movie. Jim Carrey did things like The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That other guy did MacGruber, which I assumed was a biography.
I thought MacGruber was a parody film.
No, MacGruber really happened.
Oh, I'm thinking of MacGyver, I think.
Oh my god. And so this is the
know
movie
anything.
where Pete Davidson gets to play himself. There are lots of similarities. Pete is named after, well, his name in the movie is Scott Carlin, I believe.
Let me have the IMDb page pulled up. Yeah, Scott Carlin.
Yeah, and Scott was the name of Pete Davidson's dad, who died in 9/11 when he was 7 years old.
Yeah, finding out that actually happened, fucked with me.
Did you know that the first time you watched the movie?
No, I did a little. I knew it was based off of his life, but I figured something like the father thing had to be fictionalized. And then I looked into it, and nope, Pete's dad died at 9/11. What the hell?
Yeah, it was me and Sid. I've seen this twice. I saw it once with Sid, once with Leighton. And the first time I watched this with Sid, it had like this vague, like looming air of kind of like sadness over parts of it, because it's just an emotional movie at certain times when it wants to be. And then the very last thing they show you is why the movie was made. That picture of Scott Davidson, Pete's dead dad. And I just
holding
fucking lost
Pete
it.
Davidson like little baby. Yeah, I cried a lot during the movie. Especially like the third act, there were a lot of tears being shed.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that guy lost his home and everything to bed bugs. That really tore me up.
That scene was so funny. That bedbugs guy. I was laughing a lot during this movie. I know we're like talking about the emotional aspects of it, but this movie is funny.
Yeah, it's actually a really solid, like, good time. I had this thing the first time I watched it. I gotta say, I liked this a lot more the second time because I have really bad clinical anxiety. So through this whole movie, the first time I watched it, I was really scared for Scott, the Pete Davidson's character. I was afraid of what was going to happen to him. Were you?
I got that a little bit because I got this like lingering sense that at any moment this guy was gonna get hooked on heroin or something.
He looks like it!
Like, yeah, he looks like he's either on heroin or is like very close to reaching the point where he's gonna start doing it. I'm so sorry if you heard that loud bang.
His skin is see-through, and the bags under his eyes are so big. He's like a... What did she say? She compared him to a panda or something?
Something like that. That sounds right.
He's like a heroin junkie panda. Oh my god. Yeah, I was really scared through this whole movie that it was going to end in some way that was like an emotional gut punch. And so I went and I told my brother Leighton before we watched it the second time, I was like, don't worry, he doesn't die, nothing fucked up happens, it's just a funny movie. Because, I feel like this is a better time if you go in just knowing it's going to be like a comedy and not some kind of you ever hear of the movie Remember Me?
I know that. I know the name. I can't remember what it's about.
It's a rom-com where the twist ending is 9/11. One of the
what?
The main one of the main couple, like I think he's played by Rob Pattinson, and it's like the last sequence of the movie is Rob Pattinson's like at his job.
Oh, and then it like zooms out of the tower, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I remember seeing. I did watch that. Oh, it's all coming back to me. Yeah, that ending hurt.
I was really fucking worried that this movie was gonna end with Scott like killing himself or something or going to jail. And I wasn't ready for that because I really fucking like Scott. I like Pete Davidson as an actor and as a comedian, and I just kind of wanted to see him go through some amount of hardships, but nothing that would permanently fuck him up.
You definitely throughout the course of the movie, you're definitely rooting for him to get his life together.
And how'd you feel about where they chose to end the movie? Because this was another topic of discussion with me and Sid when we finished it.
So at first, I thought it felt like it ended in the middle of something, almost. But then as I, reflected on it more, I actually came to really, really like that. Are we just going to flat out spoil it?
Yeah. This is a review for people who have already seen the movie. I think that the only valuable reviews on the internet are for people who have seen the movie. So, we're supplemental content. We've seen the movie, too. I did research on it. Come here and you can, savor the flavor a little bit longer.
Yeah. So, that ending shot... First off, that ending shot where it, glides through and then it's him looking up at the city from, a downward angle was absolutely beautiful. That shot in general I loved. I felt like it was him, finally being, I think it worked as an ending, because at first it's he's only just now starting to get his life together. I want to see him get his life together, but then as I thought about it more, I was like, no, we know he's on the right path, and that's what matters.
Yeah. He I was thinking of alternate titles for this movie, and like Escape from the Basement would have worked if this was just like the most first draft of the script way you could put it.
If you want to get really technical, Escape from Staten Island, maybe. By the way, there was a joke early in the movie where they like went to a rich friend's house, and like I think Pete Davidson says, "Why does anybody with money live in Staten Island?" And I lost it.
Why?
Because So, I didn't know a lot about Staten Island, but this movie gives me the impression it's the white trash borough of New York.
A little bit. I think Staten Island is like Long Island, but it's got like families with less money than Long Island. Like families live in Staten
Long Island.
Yeah, they drink less iced tea there. I don't know. I'm not from New York. What the fuck? My mom's from New York. Okay, don't ask me. I'll call up my mom. Hold on.
Mom, what's it like in Staten Island?
Mom, you're from fucking Syracuse. Tell me about those fuckers from Staten Island, would you? Give me a fucking hot dog, you bitch.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to bring this up because I was just talking about how that last shot of the movie looked really beautiful. So, you know who the DP for this movie was?
Oh, that was fucking Paul Thomas Anderson's DP. It was Ellswood, right?
Yeah, it's the same guy that shot There Will Be Blood. What?
Yeah. I could not fucking understand why you would take Ellswood onto like a project this. What's the word for like undemanding? What's the word for just like it's a fucking Judd Apatow like, movie?
I want to call it indie, but it's not indie. But it's indie feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You've got like fucking handheld cam looking shots and like. Nothing's crazy. Like, there's no, like, long dolly shot in this movie, so why'd you get the guy who fucking shot Magnolia to do it?
I almost wanted to call this mumblecore, but I don't know if it really fits.
No.
It's in that stratosphere, I think.
Yeah. All of the actors are confident enough to not need to mumble, so it does look kind of like a Sundance, like, clappy soundtrack movie, you know, where it's got little kids whistling and the whole soundtrack is, like...
Yeah, I looked up the original soundtrack for this movie on Spotify. There were only 6 original tracks scored for this movie.
Well, yeah. Do you know who did the music for this movie?
I got IMDb pulled up.
No. I'm gonna tell you who did the music for this movie.
Oh, okay. Who?
Fucking Michael Andrews. Okay, Michael Andrews.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Michael Andrews was the guy who fucking helped Gary Jules in 2001 record that cover of Mad World for the end of Donnie Darko.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what he's most known for. And let me tell you what, you cannot tell me the guy who helped bring the song Mad World into existence doesn't just like walk around all day just trying to find excuses to live, okay? 6 songs is a lot for him. Like, give him a break.
That's a fair point. I didn't mind the fact that it was only 6 songs because I liked a ton of the soundtrack pieces, especially that Kid Cudi song that was like in all the marketing materials and was the credits music.
Yeah,
I like a lot of the soundtrack.
Pursuit of Happiness. That's my fucking favorite Kid Cudi song. And then it's like Day and Night, and then whatever the fuck else. That one song off of Kids See Ghost. I think it's called Reborn. Fucking
yeah.
Kid Cudi's the shit. But you know why Kid Cudi was the final fucking song in this movie? I actually had to do some research to figure that shit out.
Okay, why?
Pete Davidson told this to Charlemagne the God on The Breakfast Club, but Kid Cudi's music talked about mental illness at a time when Pete Davidson was going through a lot of trouble, and Pete Davidson said that Kid Cudi's music saved his life.
Oh, that's cool that they used it for the credits then. I love that.
Absolutely, that's the reason behind it.
That's right. Everything behind this movie seems like it has so much... Like, at first glance, you think it's, like, a dinky little movie, but, like, at a closer glance, it's so much thought was put into every little bit, I think.
It's a love letter to a lot of... For instance, have you ever been to Reddit, the website?
Unfortunately.
There's this thing that haunts the Today I Learned subreddit, and it's this thing that just pops back up. Like,
oh my god, is this the Steve Buscemi thing?
Yes, this is the Steve Buscemi thing!
Did you know that Steve Buscemi was a volunteer firefighter at 9/11?
It's probably...
I felt like...
It's a meme on the website that people keep reposting that, because every time it just gets an inordinate amount of upvotes.
Then he plays a firefighter in this movie.
He plays a firefighter in the movie that's helping a kid, like, sort through the trauma of his dad who died in 9/11, which in this movie is like some hotel fire. I'm not surprised that they didn't go with 9/11 because that says a lot of like crazy political things, you know?
Yeah,
Like, no,
I think they wanted to remove this from anything remotely political. Not that 9/11 should be a political thing, but, you know.
absolutely, but they're fucking assholes out there like that. So, Judd Apatow made this made it completely detached from the thing, because I don't think anybody needs more movies like mourning 9/11. It's more about Pete's dad dying. You know, want to focus on that.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm sick of 9/11 in movies.
It's U.S. propaganda meant to, like, I don't know, like all it does is fuel Islamophobia. Like
it was a tragedy, but like it's being used for all the wrong reasons whenever I hear about it now.
Right. Fuck, we went over and, like, the response on our side was so disproportionate. We killed, like, 1 million people over those 3,000 that died in that fucking, those buildings. Like,
and then we lied about weapons of mass destruction. Not to get into that too much, but
yeah,
the Bush administration's bad, guys.
You can tell from just this, like, 30 seconds of, like fucking rubbing our forehead, just kind of, like, sweating lightly, that everybody wants this topic to be, like, put on the back burner, if not mentioned, not at all, so that we can focus on, you know, the firefighters, which is who this movie's for. It's to recruit firefighters.
You know what? I'm okay with firefighter propaganda. Firefighters are actually awesome.
Yeah, when this came out, we're still in the height of the George Floyd Renaissance, where everyone, like, day in and day out is finding new reasons to tell every cop that they're little bitches, and every one of them should quit. Walk away.
My McMuffin.
And so watching this movie, which is really, like, thinly veiled propaganda for first responders, it was like I was watching it and I was going, you know, I do fucking like firefighters, so lay this on as thick as you want.
It's okay. Firefighters deserve all the praise cops get. Well, used to get. The tide's changing on that, thankfully. But, like, there are 30,000 cop shows. I want 30,000 firefighter shows. Firefighters are cool.
Exactly. There is... I just keep thinking of that Departed line where I think it's Matt Damon shouts, "Firefighter's a fucking house." Oh, no.
Yeah. This movie actually made fun of cops very briefly, I remember.
What?
It was like one of the moments in the bar where like Steve Buscemi was like recounting this, like, one of his Scott's dad's stories. Steve sees a cop and he's like, this fucking guy. Just at, like, the sight of a cop. I remember seeing that and I was like, cool. And then it turns out Scott's dad knew him. And, like, they kissed on the lips. And I was like, what? Cool. That's Italian, I think.
Absolutely. I gotta throw in, I really loved the arc that Marissa Tomei kind of fucked up. Marissa Tomei plays Pete Davidson's mom in this movie. And apparently when... let's call him Scott. When Scott's dad died, Marissa Tomei's character told him, like, that, you know, this was like a saint firefighter. This was a larger-than-life figure.
He was the greatest man ever.
And then Scott goes on to actually have a lot of, like, drug dependency problems and, like substance abuse stuff. And it's partially like he wasn't ready to deal with it as well, because Marissa Tomei didn't want to tell her, like, 7-year-old son that, like, his dad was a drug addict. Like, I really liked that arc.
The whole movie was like, when the movie reveals, your dad was addicted to coke, I was like, damn, ballsy. I like it.
Apparently, his dad was just as drugged out and complicated as he was.
There was the scene where he's like, why do you think your dad watched cartoons with you all the time? He was tripping balls. This movie's so funny.
It's, I didn't read many of the reviews for this, but I did. I had a friend on Facebook. His name's Max. And after he saw this, he had a very brief review, which was just like, great movie, very human. You know, that's like one thing Judd Apatow excels at, is making movies that feel human.
I feel like Judd Apatow actually, he's really good at that, and I wish he directed more movies, because I'm looking at his IMDb, and he hasn't directed a narrative film since, well, technically he directed that was a documentary. He hasn't directed a narrative since Trainwreck.
Wow, that's fucking 2015 back there.
That's 5 years. It's been 5 years. He's directed a couple documentaries. He directed some, like, TV episodes, and he also created that TV show Love, which was like pretty big on Netflix for like a few years.
No, yeah, I never saw it.
So he's been doing stuff, but like as far as movies go, this is like the first one he's directed since 2015.
Well, this is kind of, maybe he was just like biding his energy, biding his time for Pete Davidson to get as big as he did, because Judd Apatow is like most of the reason that we know about Pete Davidson is who he is. Can I tell this story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So on the set of Trainwreck in 2015, Amy Schumer went up to Judd Apatow and told him to put Pete Davidson in the movie as a cameo role because he's really funny. Pete Davidson, on this movie that he had on the set of Trainwreck, would go on to meet Bill Hader, who was just like fresh off of SNL. And Bill Hader was able to get Pete Davidson in audition with Lorne Michaels over at SNL. And Pete Davidson would, I think, go on to be like one of the youngest cast members on SNL, like fucking ever. I think he was like 20. And
and I'm 22. What am I doing?
It's completely due to Judd Apatow just giving him a cameo in this fucking movie. So it's like between that and like Judd Apatow made Pete Davidson on SNL as this guy everybody fucking knows, coming into their TV section, their TV set Saturday nights, and now he's given him this movie to sort through like his psychological issues in real time in a feature film.
I always like it when movies do that. It was really cool when Eminem did it with 8 Mile, and it's cool here.
Fuck, are there any other movies like that you can think of?
I'm desperately thinking.
I can't think of any.
Like, what do you call this? The auto biopic?
Yeah, where you're just fucking playing yourself in a movie. Did Kumail Nanjiani, did that one guy do it with The Big Sick? Have you ever heard of The Big Sick?
Oh yes, I love that movie, and it is like it's a little different, I think, but that would also fit, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, this is a really fucking good way to work out your issues. Did you know that like Pete Davidson purposefully avoided going down to the firehouse before this movie? That was like one of the most intense things for him while shooting this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they actually brought him down to the old firehouse and shit. Like it fucking did things to him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I did some research. You want to hear some fun facts about this movie?
Oh, please, I would love to.
Okay. So, one fun fact. Do you remember the scene at the rich girls party where this old guy comes in and starts talking about how like colleges are a racket, how like Bernie Madoff.
Oh, I remember that guy. He was like, Ted Kaczynski went to Harvard.
Yeah, that guy.
I was like, oh my god.
Guess who that fucking guy is?
Who?
That's Steven Davidson. That's Pete Davidson's fucking grandfather.
What? Oh, that's awesome.
That's his grandpa.
He's really funny too. I want to imagine he was playing the grandpa character in the movie too.
Yeah, because they're having that moment where like his fake cousin is shitting on him for like, you know, the dark humor, and then this guy comes in and saves the scene and is like, well, I like the dark sense of humor. Like, I love that guy. I was sad he was only in one scene.
You know who else was only in one scene?
Who?
The weirdest moment of the movie for me was when Machine Gun Kelly randomly had a cameo in it.
When the fuck was that? Was that...
Remember when he went to that tattoo shop for the apprenticeship?
Oh, fuck.
He was the guy tattooing that big guy.
Yeah, so what am I gonna get paid here? And just like, dick.
Yeah, that was Machine Gun Kelly. I actually paused the movie to like, is that Machine Gun Kelly? And I looked it up and I was like, that's such a random cameo. And he's only in the one scene. But here's the weird thing. I looked into it. Apparently they filmed at least a couple other scenes with him, but that's the only one that made it in.
I mean, I kind of felt like his whole episode was wrapped up perfectly. You know, Pete went in and just the whole situation kind of bombed. And so Pete decided to piss off like a white supremacist or something. And then fucking
yeah, the guy that's just like, so he's like, if some guy comes in asking for a Grim Reaper dressed in a Confederate flag, can I tell him to get out? That's a stupid tattoo.
Okay, so what are some parts of the movie that like stand out to you? Let's just jerk it off for a second here.
I'm really like.
For me, one of them, one of the big.
That party scene.
Which party scene? The college party scene?
The college party scene was just like nonstop laugh after laugh after laugh. which was actually really needed after that tense dinner scene that came right before it.
Oh, yeah, where Bill Burr is trying to, like, hint that he's gonna marry Marissa Tomei, and Pete just makes him get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, Pete's just like, can we go? I want to go.
And then they cut to this scene where, inside the montage of all the things happening, I believe Pete Davidson runs into a girl who's trying to be an actress. And she says she looks like a young Winona Ryder. And Pete Davidson starts slapping his head so fast that he falls down.
What about, like, a little bit after, like, talking to that, like, first college socialist just read my first Marxist book girl?
And he's saying, like, the most, like, fucking just a fuckboy at a party responding to a socialist. You know, they say, because it's their fault for also leading with bullshit. Like, you never fucking go up to somebody when you're discussing, like, socialism if they look, like, as young as you. Like, this is a line you say for boomers. You don't fucking tell people who are, like, 24, whatever happened to the American dream. You know, you don't fucking say
who
that.
Who says that?
Nobody says that.
Like, I've accepted it's gone. And then Pete's just like, hey, yeah, it's more like the American nightmare. I don't know why I'm making him sound like he's Adam Sandler.
No, dude, your Pete Davidson impression is pretty on. I just don't know if you're sincere Pete Davidson.
Pete has such a growly voice, but it's also, like, a smooth growly.
Do you think Pete Davidson's sexy?
Kinda.
All right,
I think he's cute.
That's the button we'll press, the kinda button, because I'm right there with you. Speaking of, like, attractiveness, I thought it was an interesting choice. How'd you feel about Pete Davidson's girlfriend? That's like, by looking at Pete Davidson's girlfriend in this movie, you can tell it's not an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, I felt like this feels weird, but, like, I felt like they were in each other's leagues.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I feel like, you know, Ariana Grande for a while. I figured they were going to give him, like, this earth-shakingly hot, like, Grace Kelly tier, like, just babe, and instead...
But, like the average New York woman.
Yeah, they went for this normal person. Like, she was...
And I actually really liked that.
Me too! And, fun fact, that actress, you got her in your head, right?
Yeah.
Where's she from on the planet?
She has to be from New York.
She is from fucking overseas, England. She has a British accent.
What?
Dude, watch an interview with her. She's British. I'm not even fucking with you.
That New York accent was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. There's behind the scenes that you can find on YouTube of her talking about, like, getting interviewed for this movie. And she switches between, like, the New York accent and, like, her posh accent. And it's, like, the strangest fucking thing, because she's incredible at it. She's like a fucking demon.
Like, that's impressive. I was sure that she had to be native. Like, native to New York.
And how'd you like Peter Parker's mom? In this movie.
Oh, I forgot to bring that up, but she was great in the movie. What about that scene where, like, Pete Davidson, like, shows up after working at the firehouse for a while, and he shows her and he's like, Mom, I got my act together, and she's, like, day drunk on wine.
And she's, like, acting like they're gonna fight like they always do, and she walks towards the door, and he goes out first, and she just locks it in his face, goes in and laughs her ass off with her sister.
That was, like, totally like, oh, wow. I think your mom hates you. I think you really screwed up.
Marissa Tomei was so joyful in this movie. One thing that's kind of funny that you don't get from the movie, you gotta watch some behind the scenes stuff. Bill Burr and fucking Pete Davidson were just scared shitless of Marissa Tomei on set. Apparently, she is just, like, the most serious actor in this whole production, and it's fucking funny.
I'm sure she's an Oscar-winning actress.
Yeah.
She won for a comedy, too, which is rarer.
She had everyone shitting their fucking pants on this movie. Like, it's incredible. Bill Burr's sitting there all confident with his mustache and, like, shitting on Pete a little bit for looking dorky. And then he's like, oh, yeah, and then there's Marissa Tomei, and she's just up here. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna get my fucking ass kicked on this movie.
Bill Burr was really good in this, too. You know, his character also goes through a really believable arc.
What arc is that? Like, being less of a shithead to your kids and, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he scheming too hard to try to get Scott out of the house, and that was, like, part of his hubris? Like, it's weird. I've actually, like, given Bill Burr's arc, like, no thought. I've been focusing way too much on Pete.
Well, that's because Pete's, you know, has a very, very, very dynamic arc compared to, Bill's much more simple one, which was essentially be less of a dick to this guy.
Yeah, I don't know, because another thing that's weird about this movie is they keep saying that Scott's age in the movie is 24, and like I do a survey mentally of like 24-year-olds that I know and like private things I know about them, and like a huge chunk of them aren't ready to move out of their parents' house. And it's not because they can't hold down a job, it's because rent is too high around here. And like you're thinking like New York and all this shit, you're just like, oh my god, like you have to at least live with one other person, and it's just like all of this fucking, I don't think anyone has their fucking act together at 24 in this economy, you know?
Yeah, maybe like in the 90s, or maybe pre-2008 that could be a thing.
Yeah, that's one thing that's goofy about this movie, is just that I think 24 is too low of an age. Like, maybe if he was like...
But at the same time, I feel like it's realistic for characters that, like Bill Burr's character or Marissa Tomei's character, who are older, to not realize how much things have changed.
Yeah, because you get that monologue from, well, it's not really a monologue, but that joke with Bill Burr at the breakfast table, where he's talking about how, like, so-and-so won an Olympic gold medal by age 24, and he's just rattling off sports achievements from some Hall of Famers.
Like, and one of them, like, Scott's just like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, in the film world, all you gotta do to, like, do that exact same thing, but we're like, not jocks, is just be like, did you know Orson Welles directed Citizen Kane at age 23?
Jesus Christ, did he?
I think so, but the story behind that is the cinematographer, Greg Toland, was actually doing the lion's share of the work, so he just let Orson Welles look good. Yeah, and
that explains Orson Welles' very strange career after the fact.
I mean, dude, he just,
not bad, but strange. I'll never forget that the last thing Orson Welles did before he died was act in the fucking animated Transformers movie.
Yeah, he played Unicron.
It's awesome!
He played a planet, which is so perfect, like an ending fat joke on Orson Welles' life.
Especially because Orson Welles is, like, at this point, 800 pounds.
Oh my god. Yeah, just even thinking about this movie puts me in a good mood. It's funny as it's funny as hell.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't talked about the comedy enough, but the comedy, it comes out so naturally that it's hard to, like, point out, oh, that joke was funny, because it feels so natural that it almost doesn't seem like they're jokes.
Here's a scene that they handled pretty perfectly, and it was the, see, I had some alternate titles that I listed off on Twitter to Larry Clawden, and one of them was called, for this movie, one of them was Alan Moskowitz's Big Day. I think it was handled really well, because that scene could have gone like crazy dark and off the deep end, but they found ways to keep injecting jokes and make the scene just like laugh out loud funny, even though it was like maybe the low point of the movie. I don't know, having the Office theme song come on in the middle of like you're worried about some of the supporting characters actually being shot to death.
Yeah, that whole, especially because one of them, I honest to God thought one of them died at first until you see him at the jail scene later.
No, he got shot very noticeably in the shoulder. He like fingers it a little bit. And, there was no confusion on my end.
On my monitor, I thought he got shot on the heart because I forgot which side of the body the heart was on. And then he's in the jail. I'm like, oh wait, no, the heart would have been on the opposite side of his body, Tanner, you idiot.
Another name that I made up for this movie after the fact was Skeet Fighter, like Skeet Fighter, because Pete Davidson sucks at fighting through this whole fucking movie.
Yeah, he gets in a fight like 3 times, and each time he gets like when he like fights Pepe and he like gives him a slight jab, and Pete just immediately falls to the ground like, oh god. By the way, this was such a small little detail, but I loved it and thought it was hilarious. When they fight for their tips, first off, what the fuck is up with the fighting for tips thing?
I mean, his cousin just looks like a bad dude like that. Like, he's lying about, he says, like, oh, I want to hire you because I told your dad I'd always look out for you. And Pete Davidson doesn't buy it because he knows this guy's... And then the guy eventually owns up to him.
What, he told you that as a ghost?
Yeah, he eventually owns up to him, like, in the same scene. He's just like, alright, we lost 3 guys in, like, an ice storm or some shit. Like, his cousin's not a good dude. Of course he runs, like, fucking Waiter Fight Club.
Well, yeah, that was so bizarre. But the thing I really loved is that the fact that they wear Hulk fists to fight instead of like boxing gloves or something.
Yeah.
Because me and my friend Rain have been talking about Hulk fists a lot lately. We have an idea for a horror movie about them, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, OSHA only allows you to have workplace fight clubs if you wear the proprietary Hulk hands that you buy from
Sure,
OSHA.
that was a rule introduced under the Carter administration, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. They had the foresight to know that would become a toy.
Jimmy Carter was there with the military while they were developing Hulk hands for their original use in the Iran-Contra affair.
They were originally going to sell literal Hulk arms to the Iranians.
And they found out that they making them out of foam actually made the punches less hard because everybody on the wing was so coked out. It was like the late 70s, and they were just thinking backwards. And eventually, it ended up being a children's toy.
Yeah, it was really weird. They had to make they had to beg Ang Lee to make a Hulk movie in order to make it work.
Yeah. Pete Davidson sucks at fighting in this whole movie. It was shameful watching him try to fight Bill Burr. Although, probably one of the...
Bill Burr just handles him like he's a child.
That was one of the funnier beginnings to a fight I've seen. Like, I've never seen anybody kiss somebody on their bald head twice as a way to get them to throw the first punch.
At first I was like, is he headbutting him? And then I heard a noise, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, he was kissing that sweet little man.
It's such a bold strategy, I'm not gonna lie, but I love it.
Yeah, another thing that constantly occurs through this movie is some very real life, like, fucking kids from the suburbs know about this shit. Like, the nicer the meal that mom makes, the more you're about to have a fucking bomb dropped on you.
Yeah.
Like, if breakfast looks a little too good, like she's got, like, 3 extra items on the plate, they're about to kick you out of the fucking house.
Yeah, like you just immediately... I almost expected Pete Davidson to say to be like, oh god, you're gonna kick me out of the house or something? Like, it was so like, uh-oh, if breakfast is too good, that's not good.
Why do my eggs have peppers in them? Mom, what's going on? Are you gonna kick me out?
What about when, like, I need to talk to you about something. Alright, who died? Just immediately, who died this time?
Yeah, one thing on the sentimental end, away from the jokes, I didn't understand when that one black fireman meets Pete Davidson in the bathroom, and asks him, he's like, so do you think you didn't sacrifice anything? And Pete Davidson's like, no, I was just there. And I was like, holy shit, yeah, like, that makes sense. Pete Davidson didn't sacrifice anything. And then when they dropped the line later in the bar, like, heroes deserve to have kids, it clicked with me. I was like, oh, Pete Davidson was like, he did sacrifice something because he got, like, his dad got to have kids, you know?
Yeah, that was a real, like, nice little, like, how that baseball scene where he's like, firefighters shouldn't have kids, how they, like, brought that back in the last 20 minutes of the movie was really smart.
Yeah. I think the one thing critics usually go hard on this movie for is its runtime. I gotta say, this gets shorter every time I rewatch it.
What would you cut? What would you cut?
I can't think of anything. This gets shorter every time I watch it. It's like, once you take away the idea, like, once you know Scott's gonna be okay at the end of the movie, this is actually a really pleasant watch.
Like, was it 50 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be? Yeah, I just figured a movie like this was going to be 90 minutes long.
Hey,
I had no idea to think that it'd be 2 hours and 17 minutes, but I loved every minute of it.
Hey, Tanner, I'm making a little bet with myself that we have the same favorite tattoo of Scott's. What's your favorite tattoo featured in the movie?
There were so many.
I'm writing it down on a paper. I think we have the same one. What's your favorite? Try to think of it.
I mean, the one my mind jumps to was the one they showed towards the end, which was that big emotional moment.
Oh, that's your favorite?
That's the one my mind jumps to, but I don't think it's my favorite.
Okay.
There was this one really... Oh, yeah, the Obama one.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Yes! Yes, I win!
It took me a second to remember it, but then I remembered how hilarious that was.
Obama. Yeah, I got the eyes wrong.
You got Obama wrong. I can't go to the barber shop no more.
I don't have any black friends anymore.
That was so funny. Oh, it took me a minute to remember that one. That's the thing about this movie. But all the jokes like that one just feel so natural. It comes about so naturally. Not a single joke in this movie felt forced.
Oh my god, yeah, it's really organic, like, believable comedy. Nothing was, like, crazy out of bounds. All the characters were set up. It didn't have these wild leaps in logic. Everything was pretty fucking organically done. Like, an Apatow movie is like fitting into a really nice sweater that you haven't worn in a long time, and then you realize, oh, this thing fucking fits, and I'm gonna be warm all night in this thing, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a perfect description, yeah.
You can tell
Apatow excels at that.
You can tell he's a nice guy because he lets his daughter be in the movie, and he doesn't give her, like, this super fucking, like, I don't know, put her up on a pedestal role. She's just, like, playing someone his daughter's age. Like, it feels like a family, you know?
Yeah, I didn't realize until, like, after the fact that the main character's sister was Judd Apatow's daughter.
Yeah, Maude Apatow fucking kills it in this. There's this one line she
has... It was
such
a small part, but it killed.
She has this one line in the beginning, I think the first scene she's in, where talking about like trying to get Pete Davidson's character into a suit for her graduation party, and Maude Apatow's character is just like, yeah, celebrate me. And I was like, wow, that's the most like concentrated teenage girl I've ever seen in a movie. Like that is the most that was the most true to life thing a teenage girl would say, because like I've got a sister-in-law who acts exactly like Maude Apatow in this movie.
Good. What about that one part where like fucking where like after the pharmacy rob? What, by the way, why are they robbing a pharmacy of all things?
Because they got to get that venture capital from selling those oxys.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, this is about planting the seeds of our venture capital. And I was like, all right, Mr. Jeff Bezos, go off.
Yeah, as much as the next movie is called like The Five Bloods, the one we're doing, this should have been called like The Four Jay-Z's.
It was so funny. There was just like, there can't be four Jay-Z's. Only one of us can be Jay-Z. Because Jay-Z's like, you know, like, because they break up, yeah, this is what Jay-Z did. And then Pete's like, yeah, all of Jay-Z's friends died. Jay-Z was the one lucky enough to live. They're like, we're all Jay-Z. What?
Oh my god. So,
but like after they rob the pharmacy, Pete Davidson's first instinct is to call his 18-year-old sister for some reason.
As if she could do anything about it. And
then she's like, you ruined my Halloween party. Just like, so like, yes, sure, you shouldn't call your sister in that situation, but also could you be just the tiniest bit more sympathetic? This man just, like, as far as this guy knows, one of his friends is dead because he only sees two of them leave the store before he leaves.
Right. Oh my god, they shit on Igor so much in this movie. Fucking...
When his girlfriend's real!
Yeah, they reveal that in the fucking... When he finally goes to prison, you just find out Igor wasn't lying the whole time.
He wasn't being catfished, holy shit, that was amazing.
Which, by the way, like, felt super fucking relevant. This asshole who used to live in my house made me recently watch 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. And the big twist of this season is this person who you think is being catfished actually isn't being catfished at all, and the girl is real.
What?
Yeah, so this is like a contemporary thing, and they couldn't have known that when they were, like, filming this back in 2019. No fucking way.
That's amazing. You know, you love to see it.
You love to see it happen. This is perfectly... It's like how The Five Bloods is timely. Like these people must have felt great that the movies they were sitting on, ready to release, they're just, like, waiting for the right week they can grab it just a little bit of, like, you know, like, contemporary relevance.
Especially, you know, Artemis Fowl.
Oh, sweet fucking god. I'm so glad nobody actually wanted to do that for real this week.
Yeah, when someone suggested that, I was like, no, please, no.
God, we might. Josh has an idea. But
listen, if you guys do Artemis Fowl, I'll probably want to be involved only because I need to be on a podcast where I really shit on something.
That's true. Yeah, other movie reviewers like make their names by having podcasts where they just like try to rattle off creative ways to say something as ass, and we haven't really had that opportunity.
Like the closest one we had was like Bloodshot, but that one was too boring to be shot.
Bloodshot's like a 30-something on Rotten Tomatoes, okay? You need to go for like a straight up 6 in order to get your proper, like, you need to do like an epic movie to date movie level bad movie, you know?
You know, I agree with that, but that reminds me how I actually like one of those movies a lot.
Which fucking Friedberg and Seltzer movie do you like?
I really, really like Superhero Movie.
I don't even...
I don't know why.
Holy shit, I couldn't even make a guess. Those movies are so fucking bad.
It's probably really bad, but I remember really liking it as a kid.
Okay, so we're getting around the 45-minute mark, so let's try to wrap this up a little bit.
Yeah, I think all I really want to do is end with this closing sentiment about the movie in general. I said this on Letterboxd earlier, but I don't think I really emphasized how much I love this movie. This was a very, very special movie for me because I graduated college like a month ago in the middle of a global pandemic. Do you know how lost I feel right now? How aimless and I'm just wandering, going through the motions right now? And seeing this movie where the main character is very much wandering, going through the motions, and learns how to get above that, it was really the movie I needed right now, and I really related to the main character, even though him and I are obviously very different. I think this is going to be like one of the... Every year a couple movies come out, which is like these really magical movies that really penetrate my soul, and I think this is one of them. It's easily my favorite movie of the year so far.
Absolutely, like a fucking great way for Pete Davidson to establish himself as a serious actor. I would like to see more of him, even if it is just him playing himself at various ages. This really emotionally resonated with me. It feels like The Bachelor, or not The Bachelor. It feels...
The Bachelor.
Jesus Christ. It feels like The Graduate, but for millennials. It kind of speaks to like...
Oh my god, that's a great comparison.
Yeah. It speaks to sort of this like, yeah, aimlessness that we're all feeling. The fact that it centers so much on like mental health is totally a millennial thing. I'm so glad that some like old guy like Judd Apatow keeps being so fucking charitable, because that seems to be the through line of his career, is just like helping people and shining a spotlight on the humanity of these like celebrities and like boosting them up. And I'm glad we have a guy like him in Hollywood, you know?
Yeah, we need more Judd Apatows in Hollywood, because I truly get the sense that Judd cares, and he cares a lot.
It was nice to see this. This was a nice break. It was absolutely like heartwarming, just what I needed in a pandemic. Even if, you know, if I had to go outside and go to some location, I probably wouldn't have chosen Staten fucking Island, but at least I got to spend that last 2 hours and 17 minutes with the King of Staten Island.
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."